Station.
The Myron Mckinley Trio started with me going to NAMM and just saying thank you to endorsees by bringing different musicians and playing a couple different songs. And I had done it for maybe 3 or 4 years and just played just a couple different things, nothing really original that I wrote or just actually demoing the equipment. And then I met Stacy, who's drummer with me now. We became good friends, and he heard some of the material I was working on. He was like, man, we should do your song. And I was like, I don't think they would like it. I think it's too cerebral. I think it's too, deep for people to hear at a NAMM show. They're not here, they just want to hear equipment. He said, no, we should play it. So we ended up playing it. And the next thing I know, 3 days later, it went viral like crazy. There's 2 different things happening in both hands. The bass player and my left hand is actually playing one different motif, while the melody's playing something in a totally different time, and a signature of the song, and it changes in the middle of the song. So the musicians who are playing, they have to really have a strong sense of time. But once you play it, it starts to become like a trance. You start to feel where things are, and it starts to open up because you feel the little spaces. And that's how E12 started. I just would practice certain things with the left hand, with the right hand doing something totally different. And that's how the melody became one rhythm and one timing, where the bass line is one different one. The late great Whitney Houston, worked with, that's a hard question, tons of people. Earth, Wind & Fire, of course, Maurice White, the great Stanley Clarke, worked with Marcus Miller, just Doc Powell, a lot of great jazz artists. I played with Dizzy at a effect when I was probably 12 years old. Just a lot of great people. Fell in love with Oscar around 7 or 8, and I went through a serious depression for a good 1.5 years because I just couldn't see how someone could play like that. And then it got worse after I got introduced to Art Tatum, But my mom just said, these guys have been doing this forever, just keep practicing. And the more I kept doing it, I started hearing different things from them in me that I did. And the piano offers so much range for what you can do. It's one of the most unselfish instruments, You can be accompaniment, you can solo, you have all these different approaches. And, from Art Tatum, Oscar Peterson, Chick Corea, to Herbie Hancock, Kenny Kirkland, which is one of my favorites. All these guys had their different approach that made a piano do something totally different that you had never heard before. And I just fell in love with it. What I do in Earth, Wind & Fire as being the music director, I facilitate getting the music to everybody, working out the transitions between everybody. The guys in the group have always been there for like 20 years. They're a lot older, but they're great musicians, so it's really easy to work with them. Verdine is one of the best musicians ever. I mean, it's just like he'll come to rehearsal and stay there at rehearsal. Philip is just, a genius in his own right, the way he approaches things. And Ralph Johnson is great in this whole situation. So for me to come there, it's more like just to make things easy for them as far as in the MD spot. But as far as playing, it's just more or less, finding the icing for me to do, because that's the bass and the guitar are the main driving forces of that, and the drums. So the keys, which Larry Dunn did, would just be a lot of icing, a lot of colors that we would add. So that's what I bring to that situation in playing. I just recently got introduced to XO, and they put on a great show. The energy in that room was amazing. And it would be interesting to take some of the things they were doing and flip it in a musical jazz setting. So I'm looking forward to working with them.